There is something you have been quietly noticing, even if you have not allowed yourself to fully admit it. A subtle shift in energy. A different tone when they speak to you. The way their eyes soften when you walk into the room. The pauses in their sentences, as if they are choosing their words more carefully around you. You may have brushed it off as imagination. You may have told yourself it is nothing. But your intuition has been gently tapping on your heart, asking you to pay attention. This connection did not appear suddenly. It did not arrive loudly or dramatically. It grew slowly, layer by layer, through conversations, shared moments, understanding, and silent recognition. And somewhere in that process, without even planning it, this person began to develop deep feelings for you. Not something shallow. Not something impulsive. Something steady. Something thoughtful. Something that surprised even them. Yes, there is an age gap. Yes, there are differences. And yes, the mind immediately tries to analyze what the heart feels naturally. But love does not measure itself in years. It does not calculate numbers before choosing where to settle. What draws this person toward you is not age. It is your presence. The way you listen. The way you respond. The calm strength in your words. The maturity in your silence. The comfort in your energy. They feel understood by you in a way they rarely feel with others. When they speak, you actually hear them. When they hesitate, you notice. When they struggle, you sense it without explanation. That kind of emotional awareness creates a bond that cannot be forced and cannot be faked. And that bond has quietly been forming between you two. God says this connection is not random. Some people enter our lives simply to pass through. Others arrive to teach us something. But a rare few arrive to awaken something inside us. This person feels awakened by you. Inspired by you. Grounded by you. The age difference fades when conversations deepen. It disappears when laughter feels natural. It becomes irrelevant when emotional safety replaces hesitation. You might be wondering if you imagined it. You might be questioning whether the signs were real. But notice how they look at you differently than they look at others. Notice how they remember small details about you. Notice how they find reasons to extend conversations, to check in, to stay connected. These are not accidents. These are expressions of someone who feels more than they are openly saying. At the same time, there is something you have not fully explored within yourself. A subtle awareness when they are near. A slight shift in your own energy. Maybe you feel calmer around them. Maybe you feel curious. Maybe you feel seen in a way you are not used to feeling. You may have dismissed it quickly because it felt unexpected. But unexpected does not mean wrong. Unexpected often means meaningful. The heart does not ask for permission before it begins to feel. It does not consult logic before forming attachment. It simply responds to energy, to kindness, to consistency. And consistency is what this person has shown you. Not dramatic gestures. Not overwhelming declarations. But quiet presence. Steady attention. Gentle effort. This is not about rushing into something. It is not about labeling it immediately. It is about awareness. Awareness that something real is growing beneath the surface. Awareness that age does not define compatibility, emotional intelligence does. Awareness that connection is built through understanding, not numbers. God says, do not ignore what feels sincere. You do not need to make a decision today. You do not need to change anything immediately. But you do need to acknowledge what your heart already knows. Something meaningful is forming. Something gentle but powerful. Something that deserves reflection rather than dismissal. Sometimes we step back from what feels right because we fear what others may think. Sometimes we silence our emotions because they do not fit into expected patterns. But your life is not meant to be lived according to outside opinions. It is meant to be experienced through authenticity. And authenticity begins with honesty toward yourself. If this message resonates even slightly, do not push it away. Sit with it. Reflect on your conversations. Reflect on your reactions. Reflect on the comfort you feel when they are around. The smallest truths often reveal themselves quietly, not loudly. This is only the beginning. In the next part, we will go deeper into how to recognize whether this connection is mutual, how to understand the signs clearly, and how to move forward with calm confidence instead of doubt. Stay present. Stay open. Some moments change everything not because they are dramatic, but because they are honest. By now, something inside you has started to become clearer. You may not have said it out loud, but you have begun to recognize that the energy between you and this person is not ordinary. It is not casual. It is not temporary. There is a quiet depth to it, something that feels steady rather than rushed. And that is the first sign that what is growing here is genuine. Real feelings do not scream for attention. They reveal themselves through consistency. Through presence. Through the way someone chooses to remain even when they do not have to. Notice how this person shows up. Not only when things are exciting, but when things are calm. Not only when you are at your best, but when you are thoughtful, distracted, or quiet. Their interest does not disappear depending on your mood. It stays. And that kind of steady interest is rare. Many connections fade when novelty fades. But this one has not. It has strengthened slowly, naturally, without force. There is also emotional curiosity from their side. They want to know what shaped you. What inspires you? What worries you? What you dream about when no one else is listening. That depth of curiosity does not come from attraction alone. It comes from emotional investment. From someone imagining a future that includes you in it. And even if they have not fully confessed their feelings, their actions are quietly speaking. The age gap might still echo in your mind. It might make you pause. It might create hesitation because society often teaches us to measure compatibility in numbers instead of maturity. But look beyond the number and focus on the dynamic. Do your conversations feel balanced? Do you feel respected? Do you feel heard? Does the connection feel equal? Emotional alignment matters more than age alignment. Shared values matter more than shared birth years. God says some people enter your life to challenge your expectations in a healthy way. To expand your understanding of what connection can look like. Sometimes we think love must arrive in a specific form. But when it arrives differently, we doubt it. Not because it is wrong, but because it is unfamiliar. Yet unfamiliar does not mean unsafe. It means new. And new can be beautiful when approached with awareness and honesty. You may also be wondering if your feelings are as strong as theirs. That is something only you can answer. But ask yourself this gently: when they are absent, do you notice it? When they share something personal, do you feel protective of their vulnerability? When they succeed, do you feel genuinely proud? These small emotional reactions reveal more truth than dramatic declarations ever could. A meaningful connection does not rush you. It does not pressure you. It allows space. It gives you time to understand what you are feeling. And this person has been giving you that space. They have not forced confession. They have not demanded clarity. Instead, they have remained patient, hoping that one day you will see what they have quietly been feeling all along. There is also a sense of emotional safety here. You are not pretending around them. You are not performing. You are not trying to impress constantly. You are simply yourself. And when someone feels drawn to the real version of you, not the polished one, that is something rare. That is something that should not be dismissed lightly. At the same time, awareness is important. Emotional connection should feel grounding, not overwhelming. It should feel steady, not chaotic. If this bond brings you calm rather than confusion, if it inspires growth rather than insecurity, if it encourages honesty rather than fear, then it deserves thoughtful consideration. God says do not rush to define this connection, but do not ignore it either. There is a difference between moving slowly and avoiding something meaningful. Moving slowly means you are being wise. Avoiding means you are letting fear decide for you. And fear often disguises itself as practicality. This moment is not asking you to promise forever. It is asking you to acknowledge what is real right now. To look honestly at the signs. To see how their energy shifts when you are near. To notice how your own mood softens in their presence. These are not coincidences. These are indicators of emotional resonance. You may not have expected this person. You may not have planned for this type of connection. But some of the most life-changing bonds are the ones we never anticipated. They arrive quietly, without dramatic introduction, and slowly begin to matter more than we thought possible. The next step is not dramatic action. It is clarity. Clarity about your feelings. Clarity about what you want. Clarity about whether you are holding back because of genuine concern or simply because it feels unfamiliar. When clarity replaces confusion, decisions become easier. Stay present with this thought. Sit with it. Do not rush your heart, but do not silence it either. In the next part, we will go even deeper into how to respond if you choose to explore this connection, how to communicate with maturity, and how to protect the emotional balance between you while allowing something meaningful to unfold naturally. Sometimes life does not change through loud events. It changes through quiet realizations. And this may be one of those realizations. At this point, you are no longer questioning whether something is there. You are beginning to understand that the connection is real. The only question left is what you choose to do with it. And that choice does not require drama. It requires honesty. Because when two people feel something meaningful, the most powerful thing they can offer each other is emotional clarity. Not rushed promises. Not overwhelming declarations. Just clarity. If you decide to allow this connection to grow, it will not explode into intensity overnight. It will deepen gradually. It will unfold through more honest conversations, through shared vulnerability, through moments where both of you admit what you are feeling without exaggeration. Growth like this is steady. It builds trust. And trust is the foundation of any lasting bond. You may notice that once you acknowledge your openness, the energy between you becomes lighter. Less guessing. Less hesitation. More presence. When two people stop pretending they do not feel something, the connection becomes calmer instead of chaotic. That is how you know it is healthy. It does not bring confusion. It brings relief. The age difference may still appear in small ways, but instead of feeling like a barrier, it may start to feel like balance. Different life experiences can create perspective. Different stages of growth can create learning. If both of you approach the connection with respect, the difference becomes strength rather than weakness. Emotional maturity does not belong to a number. It belongs to awareness, accountability, and communication. God says sometimes the right person enters your life at the right emotional time, even if the external details look unexpected. What matters is how you treat each other. Do you listen? Do you respect boundaries? Do you encourage each other's growth? If the answer is yes, then the foundation is stronger than you realize. As this grows, communication will matter more than anything else. Speak clearly. Share gently. Do not hide behind assumptions. If you feel uncertain, say it calmly. If you feel hopeful, express it honestly. When communication is open, misunderstandings fade before they grow into problems. And that is how emotional safety is maintained. There will be moments of vulnerability. Moments where one of you feels slightly exposed for caring. In those moments, reassurance becomes important. Not dramatic reassurance. Just simple words like, "I appreciate you," or "I value this." Small affirmations can stabilize something that is still new. Allowing this connection to grow also means being patient with yourself. You may need time to adjust your expectations. Time to separate fear from intuition. Time to understand whether your hesitation was based on logic or insecurity. Be gentle with that process. Growth is not rushed. If this truly continues, you will notice subtle signs of alignment. Shared humor. Shared values. Similar emotional reactions to life events. The ability to sit in silence comfortably. These are deeper indicators of compatibility than surface-level similarities. And here is something important: choosing to explore this does not mean losing independence. A healthy connection supports individuality. It does not consume it. If both of you maintain your personal growth while nurturing the bond, the relationship becomes balanced rather than overwhelming. God says clarity brings peace. When you stop resisting what feels real, your mind becomes quieter. Doubt softens. You begin to see the situation for what it is instead of what you feared it might be. And from that clarity, you can move forward slowly, confidently, and intentionally. You do not need to rush toward a future. You only need to stay honest in the present. Let it unfold. Let conversations deepen naturally. Let trust build through consistency. Let time confirm what emotion has already suggested. Some connections enter your life to teach you about yourself. Others enter to walk beside you. If this continues to feel steady, respectful, and emotionally grounding, then it may be more than a passing moment. It may be the beginning of something that grows quietly but meaningfully over time. Stay present. Stay aware. Stay honest with your own heart. In the next part, we will go deeper into how to protect this connection from outside pressure, how to handle opinions from others, and how to keep the emotional balance strong as it evolves. Sometimes the most important choices in life are not loud. They are quiet decisions to remain open instead of closed. And this may be one of those decisions. Now that you have started to understand what this connection truly is, another layer begins to surface. It is not about feelings anymore. It is about protecting those feelings. Because the moment something meaningful starts to grow, outside voices often try to define it before you do. Society has rules. People have opinions. Friends may question. Family may hesitate. And suddenly, what felt calm and natural between two hearts becomes something that needs explanation. This is where maturity becomes essential. The age gap may be the first thing others notice, even before they notice how you speak to each other, how you respect each other, how you listen deeply. People often focus on what is visible rather than what is emotional. But your connection is not built on visibility. It is built on understanding. And understanding is invisible to those who are not inside it. God says not every opinion deserves equal weight in your heart. Some voices come from care. Others come from conditioning. Learn to distinguish between the two. If someone questions you with genuine concern, listen calmly. But if someone dismisses your connection without knowing its depth, you are not required to internalize that doubt. What matters most is how the two of you handle external pressure together. Do you communicate openly about it? Do you reassure each other instead of allowing silence to create distance? A strong connection does not collapse under questions. It strengthens when both people choose transparency over secrecy. There may be moments where you feel defensive. Moments where you wonder if it would be easier to step away than to explain. But stepping away from something meaningful because of discomfort often creates regret later. Instead of reacting quickly, respond thoughtfully. Ask yourself, does this connection bring peace? Does it encourage growth? Does it feel respectful and balanced? If the answers remain yes, then outside noise should not outweigh internal clarity. Protecting this bond also means moving at a pace that feels natural for both of you. When something is real, it does not need to be rushed to prove itself. Time will either strengthen it or reveal its weaknesses. There is no need to force validation from others. Let consistency speak. Let actions demonstrate sincerity. Another important part of protecting what you have is emotional independence. Do not allow the relationship to become your entire identity. Continue building your personal growth. Continue nurturing your own goals. When two individuals remain strong separately, the connection becomes stronger together. Dependency weakens bonds. Stability strengthens them. God says peace is the clearest indicator of alignment. If this relationship consistently brings you calm rather than chaos, confidence rather than confusion, growth rather than stagnation, then it is serving a positive purpose in your life. Fear may whisper occasionally, but fear does not define truth. As time moves forward, clarity will increase. The initial uncertainty will fade. You will either feel deeper alignment or natural distance. That is the beauty of allowing something to grow slowly. You are not forcing a future. You are observing reality as it unfolds. There will be days where you question everything. That is normal. Every meaningful connection experiences moments of reflection. The key is not to panic during those reflections. Sit with them. Talk through them. Growth requires conversation, not avoidance. If this continues to develop, you will notice something subtle but powerful. The outside opinions will matter less because your internal certainty will matter more. When two people are secure in their understanding of each other, external judgment loses its influence. Remember, not every connection is meant to be understood by everyone. Some bonds are private in their depth, sacred in their growth. And not every meaningful story needs public approval. Stay grounded. Stay honest. Stay patient. In the next part, we will go even deeper into how this connection can evolve into something lasting, how trust solidifies over time, and how emotional maturity keeps it balanced without losing its spark. Sometimes the strongest relationships are not the ones that look perfect from the outside. They are the ones that remain steady despite questions, and grow quietly with intention. By now, this connection is no longer just a possibility in your mind. It has become something you feel in your daily thoughts, in the way your energy shifts when their name appears, in the quiet comfort that settles over you when you imagine them standing beside you. What once felt uncertain now feels familiar. And familiarity, when it brings peace instead of boredom, is often the beginning of something lasting. If this bond continues to grow, it will move beyond excitement and settle into depth. Excitement is beautiful, but depth is what sustains. Depth is built through trust, through honesty, through shared challenges and shared patience. Over time, you will notice that the attraction becomes layered with understanding. You begin to anticipate each other's reactions, to sense moods without explanation, to support without being asked. That is when connection shifts from emotion to partnership. The age gap, which once seemed like the loudest detail, will slowly become the quietest. When two people grow together emotionally, differences become complementary rather than conflicting. Experience from one side blends with perspective from the other. Maturity balances enthusiasm. Stability balances spontaneity. What once seemed like contrast becomes harmony. God says lasting relationships are not built on perfection, they are built on commitment to understanding. There will be disagreements. There will be moments where you both see things differently. But if respect remains constant, conflict becomes growth instead of division. The way you handle misunderstandings will matter more than how often they happen. As time passes, you may begin to picture a future more clearly. Not in fantasy, but in practical reality. Can you see daily life together? Can you see mutual support during stress? Can you see growth rather than limitation? These questions are not meant to pressure you, they are meant to ground you. Lasting love is not only emotional, it is practical. It survives not because it is dramatic, but because it is stable. One of the most powerful signs that something is becoming lasting is emotional safety. You feel free to speak honestly. You feel secure expressing doubt without fear of abandonment. You feel valued not just for your strengths but for your vulnerabilities. When safety exists, love deepens naturally. It does not need constant reassurance. It rests in mutual trust. Another quiet transformation will occur within you. You will notice that you are not trying to impress as much as you are trying to understand. You are not seeking validation as much as you are building alignment. That shift from proving to growing is what turns affection into commitment. God says patience is the silent guardian of lasting bonds. If both of you allow this connection to mature without rushing labels, without forcing milestones, without performing for outside approval, it will strengthen naturally. Time does not weaken real connection, it clarifies it. There may still be outside voices. There may still be moments of doubt. But doubt loses power when communication remains strong. Continue choosing honesty over assumption. Continue choosing calm discussion over silent withdrawal. The strongest partnerships are built on consistent emotional responsibility. If this truly evolves into something lasting, it will not feel like chaos. It will feel like balance. It will feel like support rather than pressure. It will feel like encouragement rather than restriction. And most importantly, it will feel mutual. Love that lasts is not one-sided intensity, it is shared steadiness. You will also begin to notice growth within yourself. A deeper self-awareness. A clearer understanding of what you value. Sometimes the right connection does not just bring companionship, it brings personal evolution. It challenges you gently. It inspires you quietly. It stabilizes you emotionally. And if one day you both look back at this early uncertainty, you may realize that the age gap was never the real story. The real story was the emotional alignment, the respect, the patience, and the decision to remain open instead of closed. Stay grounded in the present. Let the future reveal itself gradually. Do not rush to define everything today. Let actions continue to speak. Let trust continue to build. Let understanding continue to deepen. In the next part, we will move into the final reflection, understanding whether this bond is meant to stay for a season or for a lifetime, and how to recognize that truth with clarity rather than fear. Sometimes love does not arrive loudly. It arrives quietly, stays patiently, and proves itself through consistency. And if this connection continues to feel steady, respectful, and emotionally safe, you may already be witnessing the beginning of something that lasts. At this stage, everything feels quieter inside you. Not because the emotions disappeared, but because they have settled. The initial uncertainty, the hesitation, the outside noise, the internal questioning, all of it has slowly transformed into something more stable. You are no longer reacting to the idea of this connection, you are reflecting on it. And reflection brings clarity. Clarity does not shout. It does not rush. It simply becomes obvious over time. When something is meant to stay in your life, it does not create constant confusion. It does not demand that you abandon yourself. It aligns gently. It fits into your reality without forcing you to shrink or stretch unnaturally. And if this bond has continued to feel calm, respectful, emotionally safe, and consistently present, then that is not coincidence. That is alignment. The age gap, which once felt like the loudest detail in the room, now feels like background noise compared to the emotional depth you share. Numbers do not hold conversations. Numbers do not create comfort. Numbers do not build trust. People do. And what truly matters is how you both show up for each other. Do you feel valued? Do you feel heard? Do you feel supported without being controlled? If the answer remains yes, then the foundation is real. God says not every meaningful connection is meant to look conventional. Some bonds are designed to teach you that love is not about fitting into expectations but about growing into understanding. You were not brought into each other's lives randomly. There was timing. There was alignment of emotional readiness. There was a meeting point where both of you were capable of seeing each other clearly. As this connection matures, something even deeper begins to happen. You stop asking whether it makes sense to others, and you start asking whether it feels right to you. That shift from external validation to internal truth is powerful. It means you are no longer living based on reaction. You are living based on awareness. This does not mean there will never be challenges. Every lasting bond faces seasons of growth. But growth is different from instability. Growth stretches you. Instability shakes you. If what you are experiencing stretches you gently toward maturity, empathy, patience, and communication, then it is serving your life in a positive way. You may also begin to notice how this connection influences your personal evolution. You are more thoughtful, more self-aware, more conscious of your emotional patterns. Sometimes the right person does not only love you, they reveal you to yourself. They help you understand parts of your heart you had not fully explored. There is peace in acceptance. Acceptance does not mean rushing forward. It means acknowledging what exists without resistance. If this connection continues, it will do so because both of you choose it consciously, not because emotion forced it. That conscious choice is what transforms feelings into commitment. God says the greatest clarity comes when fear loses its voice. If you imagine stepping forward into this bond and you feel calm instead of anxious, steady instead of overwhelmed, hopeful instead of pressured, then your intuition is guiding you correctly. Intuition speaks softly, but it rarely misleads when you are honest with yourself. This final reflection is not asking you to decide your entire future today. It is asking you to remain open, aware, and grounded. Love that is meant to last does not disappear when you move slowly. It strengthens. It waits. It builds through action and mutual respect. If one day this bond becomes a permanent part of your life, you will look back at this early hesitation and understand that growth required patience. And if, for any reason, it evolves differently, you will still carry the emotional maturity it gave you. Either way, you win when you choose honesty. Stay calm. Stay aware. Stay aligned with your truth. Let actions continue to confirm what your heart already feels. Real connection is not proven by intensity. It is proven by consistency. And remember this, the most important relationships in life do not begin with certainty. They begin with awareness, evolve through honesty, and remain through choice. If this connection continues to feel steady, respectful, emotionally safe, and mutually nurturing, then you are not missing a moment, you are witnessing the beginning of something meaningful. Take a breath. Let the clarity settle. What you choose next should come from peace, not pressure. And peace is already guiding you. If this message resonated with your heart even a little, don't ignore that feeling. Take a quiet moment and reflect on what stood out to you the most. If you believe in genuine connection and emotional growth, type, "I receive this," in the comments and let your intention be clear. Stay connected to this space, because sometimes clarity unfolds step by step, and the next message may reveal something even deeper about your journey.